Alright, we're going to be looking at how to compose the music to the Gladiator film clip. So let's have a look at the clip now before importing it into Garageband. So it's roughly 30 seconds long. Alright, so that's the clip, and we're going to be importing that into Garageband to compose. Before we do that, let's look at what we should be including in this. So we need a low pitch drone on a D. We need at least one ostinato, so a repeated pattern. We need a heroic melody based on the Dorian Mode, which is D to D on the white notes. Okay, right, so we need fanfare rhythms. So they're dotted rhythms, often used to represent special occasions, da 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 da, that kind of thing. We're going to be using percussion, and we're going to be thinking about correct instrumentation that would suit the Gladiator film. So strings, brass, woodwind, percussion, generally orchestral instruments, and no synths, nothing that would make it sound like it's set in space, like it's like a modern kind of pop piece, okay? We need to think about the pace of the music and whether or not it suits the film clip. And then we want to highlight any action and impact moments during the clip. So there's one moment where Russell Crowe raises his hand in the air. So that's what we need to think about, okay? So, this is Garageband. We found our clip here. Now if we just drag it in, anywhere in the project there, it comes up on the screen there. Now, if you move this along, you can see it moves along with the clip, okay? Now we don't need this audio. We're going to just delete that and just keep the clip because we don't want any audio from the original clip. Now, there's our first track. Now, on the first thing on our list is our low-pitched drone, okay? So we're going to find the right instrument for that. I would say maybe like a low string, something like that could sound good. You might even want to do octaves to make it sound more impactful. Okay, so here we go. We're going to record that in. We probably want it to start after the countdown. So we're going to start the recording about there. And we don't need to play for that long because we're just going to extend it, okay? That's enough. Now you can see straight away I've made a bit of a mistake in the playing in there. Double click on the track, look back at what we've recorded, and we can see I've made a mistake there. So I'm going to delete that, and we're going to quantize it. Now generally on our compositions we've been trying to stick to this grid. It's a bit different for this project because we're trying to be in time with this clip, and as you can see after the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 it kicks in there, which is not in keeping with this grid. So that's one of the issues and one of the challenges with this project, okay? Let's watch this clip and see if the drone's in the right place. That looks good to me. So we're going to extend this and we're going to have that going the whole time. So to do that, I'm going to make this look a bit smaller. You can do that by pressing this as well. Select the notes and make them longer, yeah? To about there, okay. Alright, so now we've got that in place. We're going to now add in a new instrument. We now want a bit of an ostinato, a repeated pattern. We're going to add at least one of these to give the piece a bit more of a rhythm to it, okay? So let's look under orchestral instruments. We've already added in a string. We might add in some more of that. We could add in brass, choir, harp, woodwind, maybe some flutes. Let's see how that sounds. Command K to get the keyboard up. Octave up. Okay, I'm going to try recording that in. Okay, so again, similar place. Alright, so that's my idea there. Double click it again. Make sure this is quantized. So because these are shorter notes, I think we'll probably go for a 16th here. Let's hear how that sounds. Now I would say working with a smaller section is probably making more sense, so that you can get it really edited and then copy it. We can see with this, we're starting there, aren't we? So we need that to be the same there. So we want to start that there. Maybe make them shorter there, just so it's a bit more clear. Okay, so that's fine with me there. So we're going to cut it to there. And let's just try copying it now a few times and see if that's in time. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, so we're going to keep that going. We're not going to have it too loud, but we're going to have it playing along the whole time. So I'm going to bring that down there. Okay, so let's look back to our list. We're going to be adding in a melody on top of this. So we're going to be thinking about D to D on the white notes. And fanfare rhythms. So generally a traditional cliched instrument to use for this would be brass. Go back to adding in a new instrument. If we go back to orchestral, let's go for brass. Maybe something like that. So remember, we're going to try and add in some fanfare rhythms. That's da 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 da, dotted rhythms. Da 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 da. Think about the start of a film. So we might want to put on a bit of a loop just to practice this, okay? Quite a boring melody, that, really, but it could be. I think we need to make it more interesting as it carries on. So it doesn't matter if it's quite long and sustained to start with, and we can add in more fanfares later on. Okay, here we go. best melody, but it's a start. So again, Command A, select all, press Q to quantize, and we're going to listen back to that, see if that's in time. Interesting. All right. Okay, we can definitely do better than that, but it's a starting point. So once we start to build up the piece, we can come back to that and think about how we can improve it. Now, to get this coming together a lot more, adding in a percussion part will be very helpful, okay? So if you go to orchestral and go to percussion, orchestral kit has lots of good different snare sounds. So, maybe something like that, maybe a low bass drum just to keep things together, and then we'll add the snare on the top, okay? So let's keep the video up again, and let's try recording this in. A bit early there, let's try that again. Alright, that's enough. Let's get that in time, and then we're going to copy it across. So So that's more in time. It's quite loud, that, isn't it? So I'm going to bring that down. And now we're going to try and add in a snare over the top, okay? So to do that, you can just select any note, hold down Alt at the same time, and drag up. So we've got all those snare sounds. So we can then get a bit of a snare pattern going, yeah? You can preview these sounds by going up on the side here. You can also go down here. So there's a good drum fill in there. That note there, we can actually drop it. Might do. Okay, so let's just try, if we do it, drop to there, let's just loop that. Now, if you want to make a piece really good, you want to vary these drums, you want to vary all these different tracks over the time. So I'm being a bit lazy there and just copying it all those times. You might actually want to do it section by section and actually have your drums develop. Anyway, let's have a listen up to now, what we've got so far. that's what we've got so far. Let's have a look back at our list. So low pitch drone, we've got that. Ostinato, we've got that. Melody needs work on. It's not that catchy yet. Does it sound that heroic? Probably not. Some fanfare rhythms, the drums are kind of adding to that, but again, that could be added in. Percussion tracks added in. Correct instrumentation, yes, so far. Is the pace of the music matching up with the film clip? I would say to some extent, but we are yet to have these action points. So what I mean by that is bits like moments like that where he puts his hand in the air. So we can hear the bass drum at that moment, but you might want to add in a cymbal or something like that. So we could duplicate this track. We could hold down Alt and drag, and that will then just create that same track again. We might want to drop in a cymbal, something like that, just to that moment, recording that note. Was it impactful enough? Maybe not. Let's try that. Maybe it doesn't work. It's something just to highlight that point. Maybe you bring down the volume. Let's try that again. But we could do with adding some more cymbals along this as well. We probably could do something maybe at the end to highlight when the Gladiator name comes up at the end. We need some climax of the piece. Again, we could maybe add in some more fanfares. Maybe change it up, not French horns, maybe full brass. Let's try that. Again, this is all with the white notes. This is D and A. Okay, again, quantized it, 16th. Cut off the dead space at the start there so that we can then move that along. Is this the right place? Now also this melody is getting lost a bit, so why don't we double it? So let's take this away, but we're going to change the instrument. So maybe we could add in another trumpet to make it a bit more full. Doubling up these tracks is a good way of making it a bit more, sound a bit more full, like a full orchestra. Maybe we have the drums building up to the end, so we could have a long fill and then a big crash at the end. So that comes in there. So we want that gong there. So find other cymbals. can have that leading up to that. Maybe a long snare build up to that as well. So that snare that I had before, there. So we'll hold down, drag that down. Something like that. It's a bit early for the music, isn't it? So let's try that there. Maybe too long. Alright, so let's look back at our list. We're starting to get these down in the piece. Now this is the first draft. Obviously, if you go away and then come back with fresh ears, we're going to hear things that we didn't hear the first time. So let's listen to the whole thing now, from the start, for our first draft. Alright, so that's getting there now. So that's the first draft of how you can create your Gladiator piece, okay? So keep in mind these 8 things as key ingredients for what you need to include.